Aston Villa almost did a comeback against PSG. Borussia Dortmund, they also almost did a comeback against Barcelona. Can Real Madrid and Bayern Munich make a comeback against their teams today? That is a question that only time will answer. But let me get this out of my chest, man. Let me get this out. As much as it was a coaching masterclass by Unai Emery for Aston Villa to give problems to PSG, but that substitution of taking off Marcus Rashford, it killed the game, man. We also saw Marcus Rashford starting cooking in the second half, man. In the first half, Marcus Rashford was not that player that we saw in the second half. So the moment Rashford started cooking, why take Marcus Rashford out, man? Because I think that one substitution killed that game for Aston Villa, man. Because if Marcus Rashford could have played that game for 90 minutes, it would have been a different story. What he did to assist that goal for his Rakonsa, it was brilliant. And if a player starts doing that in a game, it means that his confidence levels are high. And we all know the history of Marcus Rashford against PSG. He's that player who can cause problems in certain games. So what Unai Emery did, taking off Marcus Rashford in that game. I know he's the coach and he's viewing the game in a different way. But that, every football fan, I think, will agree with me. That was a mistake. Unai Emery should have not taken off Marcus Rashford in any instance of the game. And that sound engineer in that Aston Villa game against PSG, I almost forgot that. How the hell did he decide to play a Europa League anthem in a Champions League night? And I saw Chami Carragher saying that Marcus Rashford, the reason why Marcus Rashford is cooking today, it is that Marcus Rashford is used to hearing that Europa League anthem while he was playing for Manchester United. Remember Manchester United that the Europa League, while Aston Villa are playing in the Champions League. But basically, it was a good game, man. And for the first time in the Champions League this season, I have seen PSG actually suffering. I have not watched a lot of PSG games, but for the games I've watched, PSG have really been dominant, man. Like in that game against Liverpool, first leg, second leg. And in that first leg at Parc des Princes against Aston Villa, PSG were absolutely cooking. But today, Unai Emery coaching masterclass, and that masterclass from the players, I actually saw PSG suffering today. I actually saw PSG today back defending. I saw Marquinhos in the box clearing balls like in every 2 minutes or every 30 seconds. Marquinhos was in that box clearing. But as you all know, you cannot clear all balls. Some of the balls will definitely go behind the net if you sit back and you are the only one defending. And the fact that Aston Villa managed to turn it around when they were 2 goals down. Remember the first goal. A very good pass to Bradley Barcola. Bradley Barcola gets the ball inside the box. Unai Emery and Pau Torres, there's a miscommunication. The ball lands back to Hakimi on the edge of the box. Hakimi makes a really good shot. Emi Martinez tries to save the ball, but it's too late and the ball is behind the net. And now again, the second goal, another break from PSG. Nuno Mendes, a very good finish. PSG are 2-0 up. Then after that, it was no dominant PSG until halftime. Then the moment they came back from the halftime, I don't know what Unai Emery told the boys, but the moment that Aston Villa came from that dressing room, they meant business. It was business, and real business. And eventually, it worked. A very good footwork from Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford gives the ball to John McKean. McKean the ball to Tielemans. Tielemans looks for the far post. Then Pacho tries to defend the ball, which led to a very bad deflection that Donnarumma cannot even get that. Then PSG, their hopes are up. They are 2-1 down. Then for the second goal, I know this week you have not had a lot of great goals like the goals we had last week in the first leg of the Champions League, but that John McGinn goal, it is goal of the week. In that game against Arsenal, Real Madrid, or that game against Inter Milan and Bayern, I don't think anybody will score a goal that will surpass the qualities of the John McGinn goal, because his breaking is coming, running through from the halfway line, running and speeding with the ball in his feet. Then the moment is like outside the box, he makes a really powerful shot, man. That shot was powerful. Even Donnarumma nowhere near it. And just like that, PSG are level times 2-2 in the second leg. Then another brilliant footwork from Marcus Rashford to set off Reconsa 3-0. Then after that, it was Aston Villa against Marquinhos and Donnarumma, because Donnarumma today bailed PSG out of situations that they could have easily lost the game. Marquinhos made clearances that could have made that PSG team today lose that game because they were hanging onto that game. Aston Villa coming, Marcus Rashford is on fire, John McGinn, TLMS, then all of a sudden Unai Emery makes a substitute and he takes off Marcus Rashford. And there's one player in that Aston Villa defense I wanna give a shout out, man. And that is Pau Torres. Pau Torres today was very composed, man. I've never seen a player that much composed in a big game. He was even in some moments, he's the last man and he's faking and making nutmegs in those PSG attackers. It needs a lot of composure and a lot of confidence for you to do things like that. Because the moment you make a mistake, you are the last man with the ball and you try to make nutmegs. The moment you make a mistake, that is a goal. And we know Martinez today was not in his brilliance. He's not been in brilliance in the past 2 games. So Pau Torres today, he played a really great game and shout out to him. How I wish that Manchester United were very serious and would have gotten him those days when he's playing for Villarreal. Another player is Reconsa, who is part in the centre back position. Very brilliant game for Reconsa. He missed 2 very good heads. If it was not for Donnarumma, those 2 headers from Reconsa, there could have been a goal. And Reconsa today could have been easily gotten a hat because today he actually scored that 3rd goal for Aston Villa. Then for PSG, of course, their players, there's no day that they'll disappoint. They're always up of business, especially their fullbacks today, who also got their goals. Achraf Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. That PSG system, you can never get enough of it, man, because they played in a system today that in those breaks, whenever PSG break, their fullbacks are outside the box. Because for the first goal, they tried to clear the ball. It went from outside the box. Hakimi finishes it. The second goal, just like that, Bradley Barcola makes a reverse ball, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Nuno Mendes is on the edge of the box. Another goal. So shout out to Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. And also remember that Nuno Mendes grabbed the 3rd goal in the first leg. So Nuno Mendes, the season is cooking. And if for PSG were to make it to the Champions League final, I think he'll be one of the best players for PSG this season. Then we have the Don himself, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Some may say it is that Thibaut Courtois performance against Liverpool. Maybe Donnarumma is having 6 hands, because if it was not for Donnarumma, PSG could have easily lost the game today. Donnarumma made really brilliant saves. Those who can come on top of my head, I remember that Pau Torres one. I remember there's Reconsa header and a lot more saves that Donnarumma did tonight. So if it was not for Donnarumma tonight, PSG could have actually suffered. Then there's this kid who I keep saying that is the future of football, the Sire Doué. This kid is actually brilliant, man. And I wonder today why that Luis Enrique decided to start Bradley Barcola over the Sire Doué. But maybe it's relaxing him or resting him or something like that. But the Sire Doué is brilliant, man. One of the best players that is in that PSG team. And he actually should be going directly to the starting 11. But as we all know, PSG have a depth. They have a good squad depth. So the Sire Doué, the moment the Sire Doué is on the bench, there's always a player who can work better than him or who can bring the same levels that the Sire Doué is bringing on the pitch. And another game which I did not watch, Barcelona against Borussia Dortmund. I saw that Serge Gnabry picture receiving Man of the Match award. He was not happy at all, man. He was sad that they've been eliminated from the Champions League. And I think all this comes if they had actually at least conceded around 1 or 2 goals, or at least scored 1 or 2 goals in the first leg, Borussia Dortmund could have even had at least 95% of qualifying today. But what they did, they conceded 4 goals in the first leg. It is really hard, even if you score a lot of goals in the second leg. You see they scored 3 goals today, and those 3 goals did not bail them out to make them proceed to the semi-final. But if they'd actually conceded around 2 goals, or at least if they have conceded 4 goals in that first leg and scored around 2 goals, they've actually might have a chance. But the fact that they conceded 4 goals and they scored none, I think that is the reason Borussia Dortmund are out of the Champions League. So congratulations to Barcelona for qualifying to the semi-finals of the Champions League. So the first 2 teams have made it to the Champions League semi-final, Barcelona and PSG. Let's wait for today's game, 2200 East African time. Arsenal against Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. Then we have Inter Milan against Bayern Munich at the San Siro.